Okay, and we're back to the camera. And just one more thing I want to say about Maria. So in the audience, somebody had a sign that said Maria for president. And like, did y'all not watch the show? She's Canadian. She literally can't be president. Hi everyone, my name is Demetri and welcome back to DemetriTube, The Bachelor, Women Tell All. Let's talk about it. As always, if you're enjoying my videos, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. I'm a growing YouTuber and the likes and subscribes really help me out. So just one quick thing before we get started, there really just has not been a lot of Bachelor Nation news this season, but I do want to say, y'all remember Tyler Norris, one of my personal faves? So if y'all were interested in him, it's a wrap because he has a girlfriend now, and not only does he have a girlfriend, I think they got a dog together. So if y'all were interested in Tyler, your chances are doomed. It's probably not gonna happen. Okay, that's all I got. Let's dive into the episode. So whenever I watch the Women Tell All or the Men Tell All episodes, the first thing I look for are glow ups. Did any of the contestants glow up from the end of last season until now during the Women Tell All? And I'm not gonna point out any names specifically, but almost half of these contestants look worse, or if not the same, from when the season aired. I will say I was expecting more glow ups, but this season we really didn't get any. Next, Jesse Palmer and Joey do a Bachelor watch party tour. They go to various houses of people hosting watch parties of The Bachelor. And I think watching this is really fun. Like, it makes the Women Tell All more exciting, but it was clear that Joey was not okay with this and he was very much out of his element, and he only did this because he had to. Joey does not like attention like this, and Jesse Palmer pretty much had to carry the entire tour. So thank God Jesse was there. Now we're moving on to Leia, and for the Women Tell All, she crinkled her hair, and I'm not sure if I like this look. Like, do I not like it because it doesn't look that good? Or do I not like it because I don't particularly care for her? I'm not really sure which one it is. And Jesse Palmer gives us like a short recap of the season, and we get a replay of her throwing her date card in the fire. And rewatching this moment, it just looked even more phony than the first time I watched it. So after they replay this, most of the contestants proceed to drag Leia, and in my opinion, I think they were dragging Leia a little too hard. In regards to her throwing her card in the fire, she was acting like it was for the women in the house is where you went wrong. And then somebody else said she put on a performance. And I will admit that was so funny saying she put on a performance, because that's what I said when it happened, but watching the other contestants tell her that was really funny. Now in this moment, a lot of these contestants were being fake. I can't point out which ones, I can't point out all of them, but if y'all remember when Leia was admitting to the rest of the house that she received a date card, she was surrounded by other contestants. They were holding her hand. They were like, yes, girl, be strong. You can do this, da 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 da. And then after she admitted she had a date card, they were basically, I don't want to say they were egging her on, but they were definitely supporting her. And now, weeks later at the Women Tell All, they're saying she put on a performance. And in this moment, I do think some of the women were being fake to protect their own image, because I'm like, why did none of you call her out in the moment? You're waiting till the Women Tell All to say she put on a performance. And yes, you could say that Leia said she was doing it for the women in the house in the confessional. Like, I don't know if Leia only said that in the confessional. I don't know if she told other contestants. It's possible she only said it in the confessional, and maybe that's what the women in the house are referring to. Like, you put on this performance and then you go to the confessional and say it was for the other women when you know it's not. So the other contestants could have argued that, but at the same time, the contestants could have called out the performance in the moment. Only one contestant did, and that was Lainey. My girl Lainey was the only contestant to say, wow, you know, Leia's being a little dramatic, but other than Lainey, nobody called it out. So for the other contestants to wait till the Women Tell All to call it out now is very sus to me, and I think a lot of the women in this moment were being fake. Next, if you made it this far in the video, please go ahead and pound that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Like, y'all may not remember, but when Leia was preparing to throw out that date card, the women were holding her hand. They were like, we support you, girl. You got this. Be strong. They were holding hands. They were having a huge kumbaya. So for a lot of these contestants to backtrack now is kind of crazy. Next, let's talk about Madina. Madina was doing entirely too much. When everyone was dragging Leia, she was definitely joining in, and Madina even went so far as to say, Leia, you owe me an apology. So I was wondering what direction Madina was going to take during this Women Tell All, but Madina is definitely the villain of this Women Tell All. Madina, are we forgetting the fact that a lot of this Maria drama started because Madina, you are the one who said you felt bullied by Maria? A lot of this started because of you. And during the Women Tell All, Madina was saying that Leia was trying to get everyone in the house to hate her. But that's not what Leia was doing. Leia was saying that you were friends with Sydney and you were sad when Sydney went home, but then after she went home, you befriended Maria. Leia was saying she felt that was fake. She was not trying to get everyone in the house to be mean to you. Next, I don't know why, but production is very much protecting Madina. Like, I really don't know why, but it seems like during this moment, a lot was cut out. Or they just really wanted to make Leia look bad. But to me, Leia and Madina should have been dragged equally as hard. Also, I was gagged that we had only made it through one segment and Leia was already crying to production. But also, these Women Tell Alls usually take like 8 hours, possibly more to film, so I don't know at what part in the filming they were at that she started to cry. But anyways, back to Madina. So Madina does admit that she should not have used the word bully, but then after that, she says she got caught between Maria, who is asking who said the word bully, and Sydney, who told Madina not to tell Maria who called her a bully. So I have a lot of thoughts on this and I almost don't know where to start, but I'm gonna try my best. First, Madina took the approach of, I don't wanna be involved. Maria asked who said bully, and Sydney told Madina not to tell Maria who called her a bully. For Madina to say she didn't wanna get involved is crazy because at that point, you're already too deep in it. You sat with Sydney on a couch and said you felt bullied by Maria. And then after that, Sydney co-signed. Sydney said, I felt bullied too. So at this point, Madina, you can't just, oh, I'm not involved. Like, girl, you're heavily involved at this point. So for you to be like, oh, I'm not involved now is so crazy. Next, Madina is a mental health therapist. And for a mental health therapist to handle conflict like this is so crazy to me. Next, I cannot stand when people are like, oh, I just don't want to get involved. Like, those are potentially the worst type of people. The people who are like, I don't want to get involved, or I don't get involved in drama, because normally those are the people who start the most drama. So I could see if you were Kelsey T and you had absolutely nothing to do with this situation and you decided not to get involved, okay. But Madina, you're part of the cause of this situation. So that's not okay. And the biggest annoyance I have with Madina in all of this is that she does not want to get involved because she wants to remain friends with everyone. And that's a problem for me. So instead of doing what's right in the situation, she'd rather just try to be friends with everyone. So at this point, Sydney called Maria a bully, and Maria is asking who said I was a bully. And instead of doing what was right, Madina said she just didn't want to get involved. And again, Madina, you are a mental health therapist. You, out of all people, should know what the definition of a bully is. Is what happened to Sydney bullying? And at that point, Madina should have made a judgment call and said, wow, what Sydney did was wrong, but she didn't do that. She was just like, oh, I just don't want to get involved, which clearly made the situation like 10 times worse. And that's why I said Madina should have gotten dragged just as hard, if not harder, than how Leia was. And Star butted in and even said, you should have shut it down. But then Madina clapped back and said, I don't control them. And then the audience applauded her. Like for what? I'm on Team Star. Madina should have shut that down. But she didn't. And then Madina says, run the tape. Sydney said she felt bullied. But Sydney only said that after Madina, you said you felt bullied. So Madina is just leaving out major details here. But for some reason, production is protecting her and the audience is clapping for her and is on her side, but they really shouldn't be. And sidebar, I would love to have this women tell all without an audience. Like, we really do not need an audience for this. And I would like for Jesse and the contestants to have more time that's just unfiltered. Because it very much seems like one of those situations where ABC tells the audience when to clap, but at the same time, it's like, did y'all watch the show? And then after that, I'm not sure the specific part because I didn't have time to rewatch it, but somebody asked a question and then Madina tells Maria that she needs to work on her delivery. And that part was so annoying because she was basically kind of standing up for Sydney. And it's just like Madina just wants to be friends with everyone and play both sides. And it's like, girl, no. Instead of calling out your friend's poor behavior, you're just gonna try to pacify everyone and try to be in the middle, but not take a side. Like, I find that very annoying. And overall, Madina looked really good during this women tell all, even though she was like dead ass wrong. Like, I don't understand why ABC was trying to protect her. Hi everyone, I am so sorry my camera died, but I need to keep filming because if I don't finish filming this right now, this video is gonna be really late. So we're pushing through with the iPhone. I hope my audio sounds okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the one-on-ones. I really don't have much to say about these, but I do have a couple things I do wanna say. First is Lexi. Her dress was basic, but I thought her shoes were really cute. Lexi talks about her endometriosis and the amazing feedback and outreach she got after being on the show. And to me, Lexi had probably the best setup to be the next Bachelorette. Like, the girl literally got a standing ovation after being in the hot seat with Jesse Palmer. But as y'all know, the problem with Lexi being lead is that if she's trying to get pregnant in the next 2 years, her being the next lead of the show really is not a good decision. But also, maybe the gears are turning in her head. Maybe she's starting to realize she doesn't need to have kids. Maybe she now wants money and she's considering being the next Bachelorette. Next is Jen, and out of all of the contestants who went up to the hot seat, Jen pulled out the dramatic. She gave, especially in terms of what could have been with her relationship with Joey. And Jen also says that her and her mom butt heads, but her mom seeing her on this show allowed her to view her more as an adult. And she also mentions her Vietnamese heritage, I believe. And again, this was just a great setup for Jen to be Bachelorette. Like, overall, all of these hot seats, these contestants are fighting for that Bachelorette spot. And lastly, we have Maria. And at one point, Jesse Palmer asks Maria, why did Sydney have such a negative impression of you? And Jesse, this was such a silly question and probably shouldn't have been directed to Maria. It's clear Sydney has a new vintage shop open in Newport, Rhode Island, and she's got to promote, and Maria was just the easiest target. It was nothing personal. And then after that, Sydney chimes in and she says, I pride myself on being honest, and like, the audacity. Like, we literally just watch you spend half the season lying, and then you're gonna go on the Women Tell All and then say you pride yourself on being honest? That was crazy. And then after that, Leia backtracks and she apologizes to Maria. But to me, she only did that because of all the backlash she's gotten since the show aired. And then after that, Maria says, imagine how much easier it would have been in the house if we all got along. And I'm just like, girl, if you all got along, we wouldn't have had a show. And just one last thing I want to say about Maria, but that I forgot to mention earlier. During like part of the feud or in between breaks or something, Maria goes up to Leia to give her a hug. And honestly, during that moment, I just thought, oh my God, she is about to be the Bachelorette. Like, again, all of the contestants who went to the hot seat had a perfect setup to be Bachelorette. But honestly, I think that hug sealed it in for Maria. And I really think she's going to get it. And the audience and the fandom really likes her. And let me know below in the comments if you're feeling this way. But at this point, I don't really even care who wins the show. Like, I just want to know who's going to be the next Bachelorette. That's probably more exciting to find out. Okay, and we're back to the camera. And just one more thing I want to say about Maria. So in the audience, somebody had a sign that said Maria for president. And like, did y'all not watch the show? She's Canadian. She literally can't be president. And yep, it's that time, outfit of the episode. For this week's outfit of the episode, I am giving it to Star during the Women Tell All. So y'all may have not caught this dress. It was kind of hard to see, but Star was wearing this gorgeous green dress. I love the shade of green. I love the way it looked in the bust. And then she paired it with a necklace. It was knee length, but tight. And to me, she really stood out from the other contestants. So for that, I gave her outfit of the episode. And some other honorable mentions. So I liked Maria's shoes. I kind of liked Maria's dress. I just didn't really like how it kind of juts out at the bottom. And then Lauren's dress was cute as well. And I like Taylor's dress as well too. Okay, now we are back in Tulum. Joey just received the card from Kelsey saying we need to talk. And Joey gives us a performance, just like how Leia gave us a performance earlier in the season. Kelsey and Joey finally meet up, and Kelsey just wanted to tell Joey she misses him and it was tough not seeing him. And when she said that, I was just like, okay, Kelsey and Joey, give us nothing. And basically Joey got worked up over nothing. But it did mess with Joey's head a little bit, and I will say, I think it's kind of weird that Joey is literally letting his fears run him through this season. Like, that's not really a good way to operate. So after that, we move on to the rose ceremony, and Kelsey looks amazing. Like, I didn't love her dress, but she is giving body. The girl is shaped like a Coke bottle. Like, it is crazy. Also, Joey looked amazing too. I love seeing Joey in a black, and he had this like kind of old man suit with a black undershirt, no tie, with a little bit of chest hair poking out. The hair was sitting right. He just looked really good in this moment. And not only that, he also had this like pocket square that was like a different pattern and texture from his shirt, and it was such a nice touch. Like, he looked really good. So after that, we go to the rose ceremony, and Rachel finally gets eliminated. And after she gets eliminated, Joey walks her out, and Joey says in a confessional, I didn't want to say goodbye. And I thought that was so sweet. Then we go back to the Women Tell All, and Rachel is in the hot seat with Jesse Palmer, and she gives us nothing. Where is the glow up? The dress is boring, and she still has the same updo we've seen all season. Like, girl, this was your moment, and you missed the mark. But at least you got to spend a night with Joey. I know there are a lot of women out there who would have died for that, and you actually got it. After that, Rachel talks about racist DMs she's received since being on the show, and then Jesse Palmer responds by telling all the contestants, raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by Regina George. Now, in all seriousness, let me know below in the comments, y'all. Do you think bringing awareness to these horrible DMs the contestants get, do you think it will stop or decrease this incident from happening? Because I don't think it will. Like, I understand that ABC is trying to do something to help out the contestants, but I don't think this is really gonna help. Like, at the end of the day, the internet is the internet, and people are mean and gonna come for you. And I'm not saying it's right. Like, that's not what I'm saying. It's definitely horrible that Rachel received these messages, but it's also the nature of the internet. I've received many mean messages and comments since I started this YouTube channel, and I will say it's tough for me to imagine the scale to which Rachel has received it, because like, she clearly has way more clout than I do. But I don't think ABC doing this is really gonna stop or decrease it. And at the end of the day, you literally just got to focus on the positive and not the negative. Focus on the thousands of positive messages you got. Don't worry about the negative. And again, I get it, easier said than done. And then to wrap up the episode, just two more things. So we had a moment with Kelsey T, and apparently her relationship with her father is much better now, and he did apologize. And lastly, we got a few clips of next week's finale, and we saw Joey leaving his own season crying in an Uber XL. How are you leaving in an Uber XL on your own season? Wait, maybe Matt James left in an Uber XL his season too. No, that was before the finale though. That wasn't at the finale. Anyways, I'm really excited for this finale. From the previews, it really looks like Daisy is gonna backtrack a little bit. Like, I really do not see Kelsey backtracking. Kelsey is all in. She literally wrote a card and went to this man and said she missed him and she felt bad for not seeing him. So for Kelsey to backtrack and be like, oh wait, like it really wouldn't make sense. So I'm pretty sure Daisy's the one to do it. And you already know, if Daisy backtracks on this finale, we are gonna drag her so hard in the comments because girl, you had all this time to decide if you wanted Joey and you're gonna wait until the proposal to be like, oh wait, let me backtrack. Like, get the out of here. But I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll just have to watch the finale next week and wait and see. But anyways, as always, if you enjoyed this review, please go ahead and pound that like button, pound that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.